Most people think clogged arteries happened overnight. One bad meal, one cheat day, one mistake. But that's not how it really works. What actually clogs your arteries is something far more subtle and far more dangerous. It's the small daily choices you don't notice, the normal breakfast, the routine lunch, the dinner you've eaten 1,000 times without questioning it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people who believe they're eating healthy are still quietly damaging their arteries every single day without pain, without warning, without symptoms. And by the time chest discomfort, shortness of breath, or fatigue shows up, the damage has often been building for years. But what if I told you that science points to one simple meal, not a pill, not an extreme diet, that can support healthier arteries when eaten consistently? Not a miracle cure, not an overnight fix, but a meal shown to help reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and support the body's natural ability to manage plaque buildup. What makes this meal different is not just what it contains, but how the ingredients work together inside your body. Researchers have found that certain foods, when combined correctly, can help lower harmful LDL cholesterol, protect the lining of your blood vessels, and reduce the oxidative stress that turns cholesterol into artery clogging plaque in the first place. And the most surprising part, this isn't an exotic meat. It isn't expensive. It isn't hard to prepare. In fact, many people already have these ingredients in their kitchen, but they're using them the wrong way or not combining them in a way that actually benefits their arteries. In this video, I'll show you what science really says about artery health, why most heart-healthy advice misses the mark, and the Gen 1 meal researchers consistently associate with better arterial function when eaten regularly. If you care about your heart, if you want to protect your circulation as you age, and if you'd rather support your arteries naturally than wait for a warning sign, stay with me, because this one meal could change how you think about food and heart health forever. Most people don't realize that clogged arteries are not caused by fat alone, nor do they develop suddenly after a few unhealthy meals. The real problem begins much earlier, at a microscopic level, when inflammation quietly damages the inner lining of the blood vessels. This lining, known as the endothelium, plays a critical role in keeping blood flowing smoothly. When it becomes irritated by excess sugar, refined carbohydrates, chronic stress, or poor quality fats, it becomes more permeable and vulnerable. Cholesterol particles then slip beneath the surface, where they can become oxidized and trigger an immune response. Over time, the body treats this process like an injury, sending inflammatory cells to the area, which gradually leads to plaque formation and arterial narrowing. Scientific research shows that reducing inflammation is one of the most important steps in supporting artery health. Certain nutrients help calm this inflammatory response while also improving how blood vessels expand and contract. Fiber-rich foods help reduce the absorption of excess cholesterol in the gut, while antioxidants neutralize free radicals before they can damage blood vessel walls. Healthy fats, particularly those found in plant-based and omega-rich foods, help shift cholesterol balance away from harmful LDL and toward protective HDL, improving circulation over time. Another overlooked factor is blood sugar stability. Repeated spikes in blood glucose cause direct stress to the arterial walls, accelerating damage even in people who are not diabetic. Meals that combine fiber, healthy fats, and plant compounds slow digestion and blunt these spikes, giving blood vessels a chance to recover instead of being repeatedly assaulted throughout the day. This is why isolated superfoods rarely deliver results on their own, while thoughtfully combined meals can have a measurable impact. What makes this approach powerful is that it works with the body's natural repair mechanisms instead of forcing aggressive changes. The body is constantly trying to heal damaged blood vessels, clear excess cholesterol, and restore flexibility to the arteries. When the right nutrients are present consistently, these processes become more efficient. Over weeks and months, improved endothelial function leads to better blood flow, lower pressure inside the arteries, and reduced strain on the heart, allowing circulation to improve naturally as the inflammatory burden begins to ease and the vessels regain their ability to respond properly to each heartbeat. While inflammation sets the stage for artery damage, the type of cholesterol involved determines how quickly that damage progresses. Cholesterol itself is not the enemy it is often made out to be. In fact, it is essential for hormone production, cell membranes, and brain function. The real issue begins when low-density lipoprotein particles become small, dense, and oxidized. These altered particles are far more likely to penetrate the arterial wall and trigger an inflammatory response, which accelerates plaque buildup and reduces flexibility within the blood vessels. This is why many people with normal cholesterol numbers still experience cardiovascular problems, while others with higher numbers do not. What science increasingly points to is the importance of cholesterol quality rather than quantity. Diets high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars promote the formation of small, dense LDL particles, even when total fat intake is low. At the same time, these diets suppress beneficial HDL cholesterol, which plays a key role in transporting excess cholesterol away from the arteries and back to the liver for processing. This imbalance creates an environment where cholesterol is more likely to become trapped in the vessel walls instead of being cleared efficiently. Certain foods help shift this balance in a favorable direction by improving how cholesterol particles behave in the bloodstream. Soluble fiber binds to bile acids in the digestive tract, forcing the body to use circulating cholesterol to replace them. This process lowers harmful LDL over time without stressing the liver. Plant compounds such as polyphenols protect LDL particles from oxidation, reducing their ability to damage the arterial lining. Healthy fats, especially those found in nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish, help increase HDL function rather than simply raising its number, improving the body's ability to move cholesterol out of the arteries. Another factor often overlooked is how frequently cholesterol is exposed to oxidative stress. Smoking, air pollution, chronic psychological stress, and poor sleep all increase oxidative load in the bloodstream, making LDL particles more reactive and more dangerous. Nutrition cannot fully counteract these factors, but it can significantly strengthen the body's defenses by supplying antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that protect lipoproteins as they circulate through vascular systems. When meals are structured to support cholesterol function instead of fighting cholesterol itself, the body responds in a more stable and sustainable way. Over time, blood vessels experience less irritation, plaque formation slows, and existing buildup becomes less active and less likely to rupture. This approach helps explain why populations that eat balanced, fiber-rich, plant-forward meals with healthy fats tend to have lower rates of heart disease, even when total fat intake is not restricted, because their arteries are exposed to fewer damaged cholesterol particles and more efficient clearance mechanisms that allow circulation to remain resilient as the cardiovascular system adapts to healthier metabolic conditions. One of the most underestimated drivers of arterial damage is how food affects blood flow at the level of the vessel walls. Healthy arteries are meant to expand and contract easily, responding to changes in oxygen demand as the heart pumps. This flexibility depends heavily on the production of nitric oxide, a signaling molecule released by the endothelium that tells blood vessels when to relax. When nitric oxide production is impaired, arteries become stiffer, blood pressure rises, and circulation becomes less efficient, even before visible plaque buildup occurs. Diet plays a central role in how well this system functions. Highly processed foods, excess salts, and meals that cause sharp spikes in blood sugar all interfere with nitric oxide availability. Over time, this leads to chronic constriction of the blood vessels, forcing the heart to work harder to move blood through narrowed pathways. Many people interpret the resulting fatigue, cold hands or feet, or lightheadedness as normal aging, when in reality, it reflects declining vascular responsiveness. Certain nutrients support nitric oxide production by protecting the enzymes involved in its synthesis and reducing oxidative stress that neutralizes it. Nitrates found naturally in vegetables, such as leafy greens, are converted by the body into nitric oxide, improving vessel dilation and blood flow. Magnesium supports smooth muscle relaxation within the arterial walls, while potassium helps balance sodium levels that otherwise promote stiffness. Polyphenols found in fruits, herbs, and teas help preserve nitric oxide by preventing it from being rapidly broken down in the bloodstream. Another overlooked influence on blood flow is the timing and composition of meals. Large, heavy meals rich in refined carbohydrates divert blood toward digestion while simultaneously impairing vascular function, creating temporary strain on the circulatory system. In contrast, balanced meals that include fiber, healthy fats, and plant-based compounds promote steadier circulation and reduce post-meal blood pressure fluctuation. This effect becomes especially important as people age, when arterial elasticity naturally declines and the margin for error becomes smaller. smaller. Consistent dietary support for blood flow allows the cardiovascular system to operate under less stress throughout the day. Improved vessel responsiveness and enhances oxygen delivery to muscles and organs, reduces pressure on the heart, and lowers the risk of microdamage that accumulates over time. When blood vessels regain their ability to respond efficiently, circulation improves not because arteries are forced open, but because the underlying signaling systems regain balance and efficiency, allowing the body to regulate blood flow smoothly in response to movement, rest, and metabolic demand. Beyond cholesterol and blood flow, another critical factor in artery health is how the body handles repair after daily wear and tear. Arteries are constantly exposed to mechanical stress from each heartbeat, changes in blood pressure, and fluctuations in blood sugar. Under healthy conditions, the body responds by repairing microscopic damage quickly and efficiently. Problems arise when this repair system becomes overwhelmed or impaired, allowing small injuries to accumulate and gradually weaken the vessel walls. One major reason repair slows down is nutrient depletion. Many modern diets provide plenty of calories, but very few of the micronutrients required for tissue maintenance. Vitamins such as C and E play a role in protecting collagen and elastin, the structural proteins that keep arteries strong yet flexible. Without adequate support, these proteins become brittle, increasing the likelihood of cracking and inflammation within the arterial lining. Minerals like zinc and copper are also involved in enzymatic processes that guide cellular repair, yet they are often lacking in highly processed diets. Another contributor to poor arterial repair is chronic insulin resistance. When insulin signaling is disrupted, the body prioritizes managing blood sugar over maintaining vascular tissue. This shift reduces the delivery of repair compounds to the arteries and increases circulating inflammatory markers that interfere with healing. Even in individuals without diagnosed diabetes, repeated exposure to high glycemic meals can create a metabolic environment where repair mechanisms struggle to keep pace with damage. Sleep and recovery also play a direct role in vascular maintenance. During deep sleep, the body releases growth factors and hormones that coordinate cellular repair throughout the cardiovascular system. Poor sleep quality reduces the availability of these signals, leading to slower regeneration of the endothelial lining. Over time, this contributes to a cumulative decline in arterial integrity that cannot be corrected by diet alone, but can be significantly improved when nutrition and recovery are aligned. What makes repair-focused nutrition especially effective is its cumulative impact. Unlike interventions aimed at rapid change, supporting the body's natural healing processes works gradually and quietly. As nutrients are supplied consistently, damaged areas are reinforced, inflammation subsides, and structural resilience improves. Arteries become better equipped to withstand daily stress without escalating into plaque formation or stiffness, allowing circulation to remain stable as the cardiovascular system adapts to ongoing demands, and the vessel walls regain their capacity to maintain integrity under repeated physiological pressure. The long-term impact of artery supportive nutrition becomes most visible when inconsistency replaces short-term fixes. Many people approach heart health in cycles, alternating between periods of strict control and periods of neglect, which places repeated stress on the cardiovascular system. Arteries respond poorly to this pattern because they adapt slowly and rely on stable conditions to heal and maintain flexibility. Frequent dietary swings disrupt metabolic balance, increase inflammation, and undermine the benefits of otherwise healthy choices. What research consistently shows is that simple, repeatable meals tend to produce better outcomes than complex plans that are difficult to sustain. When meals are predictable and nutrient-dense, the body can regulate cholesterol transport, blood sugar, and vascular tone more efficiently. This stability reduces the cumulative stress placed on the arterial walls throughout the day and minimizes the biochemical triggers that accelerate plaque activity. Over time, even modest improvements in daily eating patterns can lead to meaningful changes in vascular function without the need for extreme restrictions. Another overlooked advantage of consistency is how it influences the gut microbiome. Fiber-rich foods and plant compounds encourage the growth of beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, which play a role in reducing systemic inflammation and improving insulin sensitivity. These effects extend beyond digestion, directly influencing the health of blood vessels and the way fats and sugars are processed in the bloodstream. In contrast, irregular eating patterns and highly processed foods disrupt microbial balance, increasing compounds that promote vascular inflammation. Lifestyle factors amplify or weaken the impact of nutrition. Regular movement enhances blood flow and supports nitric oxide production, while prolonged inactivity compounds stiffness within the arteries. Stress management also matters, as chronic stress hormones constrict blood vessels and interfere with cholesterol clearance. When nutrition is aligned with moderate activity and adequate recovery, the cardiovascular system operates under less strain, allowing the benefits of supportive meals to accumulate rather than being constantly offset by opposing pressures. What ultimately defines success is not perfection, but adherence. Arteries respond to the average of daily inputs, not isolated efforts. A single supportive meal repeated consistently has more influence than occasional ideal days followed by weeks of neglect. When this approach becomes routine, the cardiovascular system shifts into a more resilient state, with improved circulation, reduced inflammatory signaling, and greater adaptability to age-related changes as the body continues to respond positively to sustained nutritional patterns that reinforce vascular health over time. What matters most to understand is that artery health is not determined by one decision or one moment, but by the direction you choose over time. The body is constantly responding to what you give it, adjusting, repairing, and adapting in ways that are often invisible until years later. Food is not a cure, and no single meal can erase past damage, but the right choices repeated consistently can support the systems that keep your blood flowing smoothly and your heart working with less strain. When nutrition is approached as daily support rather than emergency intervention, it becomes a quiet but powerful tool. Paying attention to how meals are built, how often they are repeated, and how they fit into your overall lifestyle allows small changes to compound into meaningful protection. This is not about fear or restriction, but about awareness and alignment with how the body is designed to function, giving it the conditions it needs to maintain balance, resilience, and long-term cardiovascular health.